My wife begged for an open marriage. I found someone better and filed for divorce. Now she's stalking us. Furious, I beat her at her own game. Hello Reddit, I+ here. My name is Leonard. I'm 41 years old, and for nearly a decade I was married to Marina, who's now 33. We met when she was still in her early 20s, a university student full of charm and ambition, while I was already established in my career as a financial consultant. I was drawn to her energy, her beauty, and the way she made me feel young again. For the first several years, our marriage was good. We built a life together in a comfortable suburban home. We traveled occasionally, went out with friends, and had our routines like most couples do. But Marina was always more restless than me. I liked stability, books, chess, cooking at home. She, on the other hand, thrived on constant stimulation. By the time she was 29, she started to seem dissatisfied in ways she couldn't fully explain. I noticed it first in her expression, that distant stare while scrolling on her phone, or the way she'd sigh whenever I suggested a quiet weekend indoors. Then came the conversation that cracked everything wide open. It was a Tuesday evening. I was reading in the living room when she suddenly put her phone down, turned to me and said, "Leo, I've been thinking maybe we should try opening our marriage." At first I thought she was joking, but she was dead serious. She explained that she loved me and valued our stability, but she felt like she had missed out on the dating world. She had never had flings, never explored, never lived the wild life her friends bragged about. She told me she wanted to have fun with other men while keeping me as her anchor, her safety net. Hearing that was like swallowing glass. I couldn't comprehend why the life we had built wasn't enough for her, but Marina kept pressing, night after night. She spoke of modern marriages, showed me articles about couples who supposedly thrived on polyamory, and promised that this could strengthen us. I resisted. I argued. I reminded her of vows, trust, loyalty. But eventually, the pressure wore me down. The truth is, I feared losing her. I feared she'd cheat anyway, or walk away if I didn't bend. So I agreed. Against my instincts, I let her lead us into an arrangement I never wanted. The rules we set were clear. Always be honest. Always use protection. No emotional attachments. Our marriage came first. She smiled and thanked me for being so progressive. What I didn't know was that Marina already had someone waiting. Within a week, she went on her first date with Eli, a flashy marketing executive who drove a luxury sports car. She dressed up for him in a way she hadn't for me in years. When she kissed me goodbye that night, it felt more like a farewell. And just like that, my home became a place of revolving doors. She'd come back glowing with stories of lavish dinners, rooftop bars, weekend trips. She laughed more around her phone than she did in my presence. Meanwhile, I was left trying to catch up. I downloaded apps, tried messaging women, but I felt like an imposter. Most women didn't want to deal with a married man, and those who did were only after quick hookups, which didn't appeal to me. I felt humiliated. Marina noticed my lack of success and patronizingly told me to lower my standards. She laughed when she said, "Babe, you're not exactly a heartthrob. Just enjoy the ride." Then fate stepped in. One Saturday morning, while Marina was away on a day trip with Eli, I went to a cafe with my laptop. That's where I met Nora, a 35-year-old schoolteacher. She was natural, calm, and her smile disarmed me instantly. Our conversation started over something trivial. She borrowed my phone charger, but within minutes we were talking like old friends. Nora loved literature, philosophy, and travel. We talked for hours. For the first time in years, I felt genuinely seen. When she suggested we meet again, I hesitated, confessing about my open marriage. I expected her to walk away. Instead, she said softly, "That sounds messy, but I like honesty. If you're truly available, I'd like to know you better." With her, everything felt different. Our first dinner date wasn't about flashy restaurants or superficial charm. It was about connection. Nora asked me questions about my passions, my dreams. She listened. She laughed at my jokes. She made me feel like I mattered. Slowly, I realized something startling. Nora treated me better in a few weeks than Marina had in years. She valued my opinions. She didn't compare me to others. She encouraged me to chase goals I had long buried. She reminded me of my worth. As months passed, I fell deeply in love with her, and for the first time since Marina proposed the idea of an open marriage, I felt happy. But happiness has a way of breeding jealousy in the wrong people. Marina, who once flaunted her adventures with other men, suddenly became suspicious when she noticed me dressing better, smiling more, and spending more weekends away. She started demanding details about my dates. She acted jealous, though she never admitted it outright. The breaking point came one night when she returned from a failed date. She found me on a video call with Nora, laughing. completely at ease. Marina's face twisted into something dark I'd never seen before. Later that night, she sat me down and said, "Leo, I think we've had enough fun. I got what I needed out of this. Let's close the marriage and rebuild us the audacity." After dragging me into this circus, after months of parading other men in front of me, she suddenly wanted to slam the door shut, because I had finally found someone meaningful. I looked at her and told the truth. I don't want to close it. I've found what I was missing, but not with you. With Nora. She gives me the love and respect I've been craving. I won't give that up just to go back to pretending we're happy. Her response was volcanic. She accused me of breaking the rules by falling in love, of betraying her. She screamed that I was supposed to be her safety net, not someone else's partner. From that moment, Marina's behavior shifted into something darker. She started calling Nora, sending her threatening messages. She stalked us, showing up at restaurants where we dined, following us on weekend trips. She told mutual friends that Nora was a homewrecker, conveniently forgetting that she had pushed me into this lifestyle in the first place. But the more Marina tried to sabotage us, the more determined I became. For years, she had drained me with her selfishness, her constant hunger for validation. With Nora, I finally understood what partnership truly meant. And so, I made the hardest choice of my life. I filed for divorce. Marina begged, then threatened, then tried to manipulate me with promises of change. But I had already crossed the point of no return. I was done being her backup plan. The irony is rich. She demanded freedom because she thought I'd never succeed without her. Yet in that freedom, I found a love stronger than anything she could have given me. And she was left chasing thrills that never filled the emptiness she carried inside. After I filed for divorce, Marina's mask truly slipped. At first, she tried the sentimental route. She cooked my favorite meals, left handwritten notes on my desk, even wore the perfume she'd worn back when we first met. She whispered things like, "We can go back to how it used to be, Leo. We were good together once, weren't we?" But her efforts felt hollow. They weren't about love. They were about control. When the charm failed, she turned vindictive. She began calling Nora late at night, sometimes crying, sometimes spewing venom. She accused her of stealing her husband. She even created fake social media accounts to spread lies, claiming Nora had been sleeping with married men for years. Nora, calm as ever, would show me the messages and say, "This isn't about me. This is about her fear of losing control over you." Her patience, her maturity, only deepened my respect for her. But Marina didn't stop there. She tried legal warfare. She claimed in divorce filings that I was emotionally neglectful, that I had abandoned her for another woman. Her lawyers tried to paint Nora as some kind of manipulative predator. What Marina hadn't expected was that I had kept records, her texts, her requests to open the marriage, screenshots of her dating profiles, everything. When my lawyer presented them in court, the narrative flipped. The judge saw through her performance. Marina wasn't a victim. She was a woman who had gambled with her marriage, lost, and now wanted to rewrite history. But the courtroom drama was only part of it. The real battle was emotional. For years, Marina had been my center, even in dysfunction. Detaching from her was like cutting out a part of myself. There were nights when doubt crept in, when I wondered if I was making a colossal mistake. Nora was patient, but I could see the toll Marina's stalking and harassment took on her. One night, after Marina had shown up at Nora's apartment building, banging on her door and screaming until security escorted her out, Nora sat beside me on the couch and said, "Leo, I need to know if you're strong enough to choose peace, because loving me means not letting her run your life anymore." That hit me hard. She was right. Marina had controlled me for too long. First with guilt, then with pressure, now with chaos. I had to decide who I wanted to be. So I doubled down. I blocked Marina on everything but legal channels. I changed numbers, moved out of our old house, and found a new apartment where Nora and I could build something fresh. Of course, Marina didn't vanish. She lingered on the edges of my life, occasionally sending bitter emails or trying to guilt mutual friends into talking sense into me. But slowly, her power dwindled. People began to see her desperation for what it was. Meanwhile, Nora and I grew stronger. We took a trip to Lisbon where we spent hours wandering cobblestone streets, sharing pastries in tiny cafes, and talking about everything from childhood dreams to future plans. On that trip, I realized that love wasn't supposed to feel like walking on eggshells. Love was supposed to feel like this, steady, nourishing, and free. When I finally told Nora I loved her, truly and deeply, she smiled and said, "I've been waiting for you to say that, because I knew it the day you lent me your charger." The divorce finalized 6 months later. Marina tried to drag it out, but eventually the paperwork was signed. She moved to another city shortly after, chasing a new job, a new life, maybe a new man. I don't know. I stopped checking. What I do know is that letting go of her was like unclenching a fist I hadn't realized was balled for years. And as for Nora, we built something real. She met my family, and for the first time in a long time, I felt proud to introduce my partner to them. My parents adored her. My friends noticed how much lighter I seemed, how much more present. It wasn't always easy. The shadow of Marina lingered in small ways, in my reflexive fears, in the occasional outburst of guilt, but Nora never judged. She stood by me, patient, loving, firm in her boundaries. Looking back, I sometimes marvel at the irony. Marina wanted an open marriage because she thought she was missing out on excitement, but in chasing fleeting thrills, she lost the one thing she didn't realize mattered most, someone who loved her without conditions. And me? I went into the arrangement reluctantly, expecting nothing but pain, yet it led me straight into the arms of the woman who showed me what love was supposed to be. Sometimes the fire that burns your life down is the same one that clears the ground for something beautiful to grow.